From the platform of National Commission of Homeopathy, we are coming up with the elective subject, professional and personal development. As an aspiring homeopathic practitioner, our journey extends far beyond the confines of textbook and clinical rotations. We have till now understood the things and ideas. We studied the books, we read the books, we memorize it, and we write it down in the exams and we pass out. But that doesn't help us to have a successful homeopathic career. And not only career, it's a path paved with personal growth, professional integrity, and unwavering dedication. Embracing personal and professional development is not merely a choice, it's a commitment to excellence in both our craft and character. In the realm of professional and personal development, we must cultivate what? Self-awareness, resilience, and empathy. Self-awareness, when I am saying self-awareness, I ask so many times the students, who you are, who am I? That's the first question I should identify. Unless and until I identify my present destination, my present status, where am I, who am I right now, and where I want to go. So that's like a GPS. So self-awareness. The second quality is resilience. Resilience is very, very important because in the challenge of life, we come across so many challenges and problems and issues, and how we recover from that. That's an essential quality nowadays in the fast running era of this 21st and the 23rd century. And the third one is empathy. So what we understand out of this, we have to define what is personal development, where we see a development on our personal ideas, our personal self, what we must cultivate. The self-awareness, resilience, and empathy. That's why understanding ourselves allows us to better understand our patients, fostering deeper connections and more connective healing. So through self-reflection and introspection, we uncover our strengths, our weaknesses, and areas of growth, empowering us to evolve into a compassionate healers capable of addressing the holistic needs of those we serve. So when we identify we are going to see some of the tools. How are we going to use that tools for developing our own some of the areas and skill sets? That is through self-reflection and introspection. Simultaneously, our journey in professional development demands a steadfast commitment to the ethical practice. When we say ethical practice, it encompasses a lot of things. Continuous learning is an essential part in the present era of constant development and learning and collaboration. That requires a teamwork, collaborating with the other agencies. Upholding the principle of integrity and transparency ensures that our interaction with patients are built on trust and mutual respect. By staying abreast of advancement in homeopathy and complementary modalities, we enrich our knowledge base and expand our therapeutic toolkit, enhancing our efficacy as healers. So when I say, who am I? We identify who am I? What are my areas, my strengths, my weaknesses, my opportunities, my threats? What are the things which puts me up, which puts me down? Ultimately, the pursuit of personal and professional development in homeopathy is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. So today's learning can become tomorrow's trap. That's a right side. It's a journey marked by humility, curiosity, and relentless dedication to service. As we embark on this noble path, let us embrace each challenge as an opportunity for growth, each setback as a lesson in resilience, and each success as a testament to our unwavering commitment to healing the body, mind, and spirit. Let's build a foundation for not only a successful career, but a successful life. So all of us, as a student of homeopathy, we are also as a student of homeopathy, lifelong, and Master Hahnemann said we are a lifelong learner and we should learn all the more new concepts. So let's build a foundation for not only a successful career, but a successful life. Master Hahnemann's word, homeopathic physician has to heal thyself before healing others. Difficulty and challenges of life demands working on self. As we homeopaths believe, cure takes place from within and secondary curative action. Let us understand some of the personality traits and professional requirement for not only successful but effective and empowering life. Let me ask you a question. Who are you? Who are you? And you will answer your name, my name is so and so. Your introduction with academics, you are a student of homeopathy, or your career, your caste, maybe creed, maybe the city from which you are coming out. If we ask someone you know to introduce you, if we ask someone else you know to introduce you, what they will answer? And you will say it depends on their relation with you. So, what introduction we see in ourselves and what introduction people see in ourselves are two different things. We come across number of things we have seen it. Okay, people sees us with a different eye and we say it's your perspective, it's your spectacles. So people see with their spectacles, but we can always give them our spectacles to see how they see us. So like your family, say for example, if I ask your parent about yourself, then probably your parent will have a different introduction of you. My son or my daughter is very kind, very generous, or very is not confident rather. Say for example, at times they say they need protection, so because they have given you a protection all the time. Like if I ask your friends, they have their own introduction on a different plane. Say for example, I ask you a question to co-student, and who says, who is he? Then he gives you a total different introduction. Similarly, patient also has a different perspective towards doctor. People start building opinion about you. Depends on their experience with you. By you, through you. If I ask you who you want to become, in your eyes, that will be different. In introductions of others like family, friends, patients, etc., what are you going to answer? Who you want to become in your eyes as well as in the eye of your parents, your family, your society, your friends. You need to define that. How are you going to do that? So as a budding homeopath, undergraduate student, I stand at the threshold of a transformative journey, one that extends beyond the confines of academic learning. We don't need to remember the ideas of these learning sessions, especially in the personal and professional development. How are we going to see it's a transformative development? It is not personal development. How I see myself, how I act on myself, I don't have to remember the characteristic and qualities of a personal development. So if I am going to understand what are the characteristics, I need to make over myself. So, and there are two ethics, personality ethic and character ethic. If I build a personality ethic, I can make up some presentations like you, the way I am presenting it to you right now. What my character will be reflected in my all behaviors, my formal, informal conversations with you. So how are we going to, it reflects in the case taking also. If I see a patient comes to me, I ask them, what are your complaints? The way I ask the questions, and they totally defines how patient is going to answer, how patient is going to confide in us. So as a budding homeopathy graduate student, I stand the threshold of a transformative journey. I need to transform myself so the patients not only narrates their complaints, but their suffering as it is iterated, one that extends beyond the confines of academic learning to encompass personal growth, professional development, and a deep understanding of self. So being a homeopath, it requires a transformative journey. You should be a different person. How are you going to be a different person? So the person who you were and who you are going to be is totally two different things. In this pivotal moment, I recognize the importance of embracing my strength. I must identify what are my strengths. I know I may be good at communication, I may be good at studying, I may be good at remembering things, I may be good at playing things, but I don't like, so acknowledging my weaknesses, I cannot focus. The major challenge right now in the arena of technology is focus, difficulty in focusing things. A lot of distractions are there. So how are you going to eliminate those distractions and to achieve your goal? You need to have focus. How are you going to learn that focus? Seizing opportunities and navigating challenges with resilience and determinations. So how are we going to seize the opportunity and navigating challenges with resilience and determination? Threats, how are you going to eliminate the threats? So that is a major idea. Through SWOT analysis, this is what a strength, weakness, opportunity and threat analysis. I have identified my strength as a keen intellect, a compassionate heart and a relentless drive to make a difference in the life of others. Armed with those qualities, I aspire to become not just a proficient homeopath, but a beacon of healing and hope in my community. This is what I want to become. However, I am not blinding to my weaknesses. These areas where I need to focus my efforts to facilitate growth and improvement. I need to work upon myself. Initially, we used to remember the subjects from anatomy, physiology, pharmacy, materia, organ and pathology, FMT, gynec, surgery, medicine, practice of medicine, repertory, and preventive and social medicine. And we used to remember the things, and we start writing down in the exams. In the vivas also, we used to narrate the whatever we remembered. But so many times in the time of nervousness, in the time of challenge, in the time of certain emotional challenges, we are very difficult to deal with it. So how are we going to do that? Very, very important. We have studied very hard. We remembered a lot of things, but unfortunately, the time of exams, we forget. That's a common challenge of nowadays the students are facing. So how are you going to deal with that? It doesn't require your only remember or mugging up of the things, but what requires is your emotional intelligence. We are going to see in the later aspect of our personal development how are going to we conquer the nervousness and the challenges of my weaknesses. However, I am not blind to my weakness, the areas where I need to focus on my efforts to facilitate growth and improvement. Whether it's owning my communication skills, say for example, how are you going to communicate to the people? How are you going to communicate with the things, with the patients, with the relatives, with the children, when the children comes to you and you take the case in a different way. So it requires a deep understanding of communication skills. We are going to see that also in detail, how communication skill helps or hinders the success of you. Despite you are knowing everything, but you are not able to apply with the things. So personal development, my communication skill needs to understood. How I am going to listen to the people, refining my diagnostic abilities and cultivating a greater self-confidence. I am committed to addressing these areas head on. Recognizing that self-awareness is the first step towards personal and professional advancement. With this a basic understanding why my personal development is needed for my professional development, how I am going to do the things. I need to understand where am I right now. Like GPS, we need to reach to a certain destination. So we set our present location and we add the destination location, and then GPS identifies how are we going to reach that. So first understanding where am I, who am I, and who I want to become. So that becomes a path for our own developmental journey. How are we going to understand our own personal development, and how are we going to that add value to my professional development. So in understanding myself more deeply, I acknowledge the importance of introspection. Unfortunate part is that we are going away from ourselves, understanding our own strength, our own weakness, what we think, what are the things which triggers us, what are the things which hampers us, what are the things which are motivating us or drives us to where. So if we identify the factors and the drivers, self-reflection will help me, and seeking feedback from mentors and peers, people who are mentors or coach or teachers can see and can guide us. Where are my weaknesses, my challenges comes up, where am I hesitating myself, or what things which pushes me. By embracing vulnerability and openness, I create space for growth, learning and transformation. This statement is very important. When I say by embracing vulnerability and openness, I create space for growth, learning and transformation. I embark on this journey of self-discovery and development. I am guided by the belief that success is not merely measured by academic accolades or professional achievements, but by the impact I have on the lives of those around me, including patients. I repeat, this is very important statement. If I am able to score in my theory exams, if I am able to score in my reproducing knowledge into the Viva examination or creating the things, if that knowledge is not helping me in my understanding, in the challenge of a patient, when patient comes to me in the crisis, and if I am not able to utilize the same knowledge, that knowledge is not going to help me. So these success on the certificates and the awards and accolades are not going to be measured, not going to contribute in my success. So for my success, I need to identify the impact I have on the life of those around me. Whatever the knowledge which I am having, how I am going to understand, how I am going to treat the patient, how I am going to receive the patient's challenges, problems. When it's like, we study in second year of class the do's and don'ts of case taking. We mug up the things. These are the things to be done. These are the things not to be done. We remember it by mugging up. But in actual clinical setups, we forget and we just ask direct questions, or we just confirm the remedies which we already know from the patients. So we are violating the law of the seventh cardinal, this unprejudiced observer. See, Hahnemann has rightly said the homeopathic physician has to be an unprejudiced observer. How are you going to be that unless and until you develop yourselves? So this is a journey of self-discovery and development. And how are you going to impact on the life of others? By working on yourself, cultivating your strength, overcoming your weaknesses, and embracing opportunities. There are enough opportunities. So many times patient rewards us with very, very highly characteristic, peculiar, queer, rare strains. We know it is PQRS, but if we are not able to receive the things, if we are not able to understand, if we are not listening the patient with an objective eye, probably we miss that opportunity. And I am laying the foundation for future characterized by fulfillment of purpose and meaningful contribution to the field of homeopathy and beyond. By these, if we are able to get this, how are we going to understand personal development? Identifying, assessing, evaluating, understanding above terms is highway of success. People ask us, how are we going to be successful, sir? When are we going to do in the field of practice, private practice or in hospital practice? What measures success? And what are the cautions, various cautions that helps you, identifying you. How are you going to do that? So identifying yourself, assess yourself, evaluate yourself, understand all these above terms, and with a highway of success. I am going to give you tools also. See, but these is, if you are reading it, if you are listening it, if you are hearing it from me, it remains only on a knowledge domain. You remember it, it has got no use. If you make it in a transformational domain, experiential domain, existential domain, if you experiment with these words, if you experiment with the sentences which we have described in a personal development thing, see, how are we going to do that? So can you identify that? It's merely a way of exercising. So many times, why this competency-based dynamic curriculum came in. It's the whole education policy is transforming. Till now, it was merely based on the remembering the books, the chapters and the syllabus, and producing it into the theories, exams and the Viva examinations. That is not the education. Educate is to transform your life. So basically in transformation, personal development, the self-development consists of so many traits imbibing our own qualities, and that can be happening with my experimenting with the things, my doing with the things. That is called skill-based learning systems. And government is also working very hard on transforming the whole education system. Similarly, unless and until it is not the lectures change the whole scenario, you read it, you identify it, you apply it, you see the things, how it works on it, you get the feedbacks, you see the outcomes, and then you see the results. So this is identifying, assessing, evaluating, understanding above terms in high, and that's why it is a highway for success. It is your success. So it is nobody else's success. So we need to identify our qualities Initially, way before 25 years, 30 years, or 50 years, people used to measure the intelligent quotient, IQ. You might be remembering the IQ to be done, IQ to be understood. So when we say IQ, high IQ people, is not a guarantee for success. Now it has been established. The people before 50 years, we have seen number of examples where academically average student has excelled in their private career or growth, or academically average students had not performed well, and academically poor students have performed well. Academic excellent student has not performed well. So then the idea has came out by one of the research scientists, and has been coined by Daniel Goleman, who have written a book called Emotional Intelligence. So he has identified what matters success is not only IQ. IQ plays only 25% in role in your success. Rather 15% role, not 25 also. Only 15% is contributing in your success. So highest intellectuals are not guaranteed for success. Then what matters success? He says the major aspect is emotional quotient. When we say EQ guarantees you lot of successful things. Emotional maturity. How are you going to see the emotional maturity? You are hampered by you. If you are nervous, if somebody has scolded you, if you are disturbed at home, and you go to the school, you go to the college, you learn nothing goes inside. Why? Because nothing goes inside. Just because you are blocked, you are depressed. So how are you going to deal with the emotional turmoil? If you are cheerful, happy, any challenges, you can happily doing it. So what are you going to do is very, very important. So this EQ, emotional quotient, came in. I am right now giving you two different well-known quotients, but not only these two, there are 3-4 more quotient has also came in the play, because life is moving so fast on a personal development area. How are we going to match with the speed of the life? Because emotionally we are vulnerable, emotionally we are slow, emotionally we are not moving faster. Any trauma, psychological trauma, we carry on for lives together. Even we see in the patients, any emotional trauma to a patient in the childhood, he carries the burden of that emotional trauma for life. So when we are not able to understand our own emotional trauma, our own filters, how are we going to understand the filters of patients? That is where Hahnemann says, healing patient, healing thyself. Physician has to heal thyself before healing others. You cannot heal others. If you are traumatized, how are you going to heal others? So that is a major idea. And how are you going to do that? I am going to elaborate these things under the framework of these personal and professional development. This topic has been given by, and beautifully selected topic by the Education Board and NCH to empower, enable the homeopathic generations ahead. I must congratulate you for having this syllabus, for having this wonderful branch, and transform your life not as a only successful homeopathic career, but as a successful human being too. When we are understanding intelligent quotient and emotional quotient, we understand what it is. It is about psychology. Is it about psychology? So psychology is what? Psychology is pervasive. It is everywhere. We understanding the psychology is understanding the science of psyche. Psyche consists of emotions, intellect, and behavior. Similarly, the reactions under the psychological plane. So if we understand where psychology creates, it is pervasive, persistent, and personal. And everybody's mindset is operating at a different level. So what makes our IQ? We have understood the things, how we study, how we identify, how we read, how we analyze, how we strategize thinking, critical analysis, critical thinking. And alongside, we have seen the importance of emotions and identifying the emotional quotients. So I was talking about IQ and EQ. There is another quotient which also came into play called love quotient. Love quotient means identifying the things, cultivating love, empathy, and compassion in relationship. Further to that, post-COVID era, when the things are not under our control, when the situation challenges beyond our ability to deal with it. So there are so many things which we need to identify, the factors which are adverse to our expected norms. Things can go against, things can go adverse to the expected outcomes. So in the time of adversities, how are we dealing with that adversities? So that adversity quotient is also another matrix or index has been established and developed over a period of time. So your AQ, that requires and that contributes by the resilient quality of yours. We have identified the things, how we recover out of that challenges or adversities. So that adversity quotient also plays a very big role. So on that IQ, EQ, LQ and AQ we come across. After AQ, there is if we understand the Maslow's hierarchy, there comes a component of social awareness. That is called SQ, social quotient, nurturing interpersonal skills and social awareness. If we are able to enhance our ability to associate with the things, people, how we correlate with the things, how we identify with the co-workers, and it essentially helps us in our team building abilities, team management capabilities, leading abilities, leading the patients also while taking the case, during the journey of treatment, during the counseling process, and so many times your social quotient is also very, very important. And the last but not the least is spiritual quotient, exploring spiritual beliefs, values and practices for inner growth and fulfillment. So that was a major area where different quotient we have to improve upon. So many times on that path, multiple personality reflections we carry on. What are the types of things? What are the works on that things? And now, as a student of homeopathy, as a student of medical science, we don't only need to identify the answers, we need to identify the right questions. And that is in nowadays world, identifying the right questions is first and foremost criteria. Answers you can get it from anywhere. It's now not only Google is there with you, but other than Google, means on the search engines, rather than going search engines, even there are AIs into place. They are going to answer your questions, and it is moving so fast. So finding the right question is a key to activating the perfect GPS for our journey towards growth and success. It's about delving deep into the heart of the matter, uncovering insights and charting a course that aligns with our aspirations and values by asking the right questions. What I really want, how I want, from where I should find the answers. We not only gain clarity and directions, but also unlock solutions and opportunities that may have otherwise remained elusive. It's very, very important how are we going to understand what is the right question for me. Even after completing our BHMS career, BHMS degree, my question remains same. Whether I should do my pursue postgraduate study, I should start my own practice, I should join any hospital as a medical officer, as an homeopathic consultant, I should go for another management studies, or what is my life, where I should go. The right questions so many times is not there, and that's why we are taking a path which is out of blooms. It comes on blooms, and somebody says and we move on. Somebody says do this and we're doing it. Somebody says this is good and lucrative, you run after that. What criteria helps you identifying your question for life? Even in the patients, when patient comes to us, we need to ask one fundamental question to ourselves first. What is to be cured in a case? In these cases, we comes with a number of symptoms, signs, presentations, lot of informations comes out. Out of all these jumble things, what I need to find out, what needs to be cured. Is it the causative factor needs to be cured? What are the factors which is contributing to the illness of this person? How can I identify, how can I see the right simillimum for my patients? Should I cover only physicals? Should I cover only clinical symptoms? Should I cover only mentals? Should I cover the totality? In portraits, there are one-sided disease. So many changes in organ, and also Master Hahnemann has perfectly understood the well-diversified presentations of the patients. But for that, we need to have in our mind, our questions should be identified. What question I should ask myself and then to the relevant stakeholders. In times of disasters, in time of distress or downtime, human support serves as a beacon of hope and resilience. Whether receiving or extending a helping hand, what we are seeing is very, very important. As a homeopathic physician, my personal development lies in how I be with the people. What kind of human support this patient needs from me? What kind of human support the society needs from me? What kind of support the country needs from me? And especially in all these things, how am I going to understand the human support systems? Mind requires mind. No more physical things. Sharing makes. When we see a family, we are just confining to our family, parents, brothers, sisters, spouse. If we extend our meaning of family, family extends to our patients, family extends to countrymen, family extends to larger context of family at home, family at work, family in society. So you need to cultivate and develop an emotional self needs to be trained in such a way so people try and trust you on account of the emotional capabilities to deal with any challenge. So that's reminds us of a shared humanity and boundless capacity for compassion and kindness that resides within each of us. Understanding the concept of family in larger context extend beyond blood relations to encompass various zones of support and influence that shapes our lives. 3 family zones may include friends, mentors, communities, and cultural affiliations, all of which contribute to our development and identity. By recognizing and appreciating these interconnected webs of support, we gain a deeper understanding of the environment that fosters our growth and foundations upon which our character is built. So identifying the things, health is not merely the absence of illness that we understood, we studied in Organon, but a dynamic interplay of physical, mental and emotional well-being. And as Hahnemann said, we have to heal ourselves before healing others. It is a tri-coordinate system comprising of health, happiness and harmony, where each component influences and sustains the others. Caring for our mind and body involves nurturing ourselves holistically, cultivating balance, resilience and vitality in pursuit of a fulfilling and vibrant life. By prioritizing self-care and embracing a holistic approach to health, we lay the groundwork for thriving, existing grounded in vitality, joy and well-being. So how much it is very important, taking care of our own emotions, taking care of our own intellect, taking care of our own well-beings helps in treating patients. Transforming oneself begins with embracing adaptability. Now, the quality which requires is adaptability. You cannot change the environment. It is like driving a car. If I like fast driving, I like to drive car at the speed of 120, 150. But when I start from the city, from my home, I cannot straight away put the car into gear of 150 gears. So I just need to start with 5, 10, 20, 80, 100 kilometers per hour. And then it depends on the traffic, it depends on the other road conditions, it depends on the road map. I have to adjust my driving as per the environment. So that is called adaptability. I adapt myself into a circumstance, into a situation where I can optimally operate for the well-being of myself and others. A trait essential in navigating life's ever-changing landscapes. By cultivating a mindset of flexibility and openness, I need to be flexible, I need to be open. We harness the power to embrace new challenges. We have to harness, remember this, I am repeating this, the power to embrace new challenges. Don't escape away from the challenge. Embrace the challenge, face the challenge, accept the challenge, seize the opportunities, and thrive in dynamic environments. Because the life is dynamic. The dynamic life itself, there is a well-known says, somebody says, what is the definition of stress? Adaptability into a constantly changing world. In a better adaptable situations, if you are not able to adapt, you are under stress. In one of the stanzas of Gujarati, it is called સતત પરિવર્તનશીલ જગતની અંદર સ્થાયિત્વની ભાવના એ જ તણાવ. Means in this constant changing world where we fixate our mind with the mindset and emotions, we create stress. So that's adaptability is exactly opposite to that. So by cultivating a mindset of flexibility and openness, we harness the power of embracing new challenges, seize opportunities, and thrive in dynamic environment. Central to this transformation is the cultivation of empathy and compassion, virtues that enable us to connect deeply with others, understand their perspectives, and extend genuine support and care. Through active listening and honed communication skills, we bridge the gap between understanding and connections. There is a difference between understanding and connection. Fostering meaningful relationship built on trust and mutual respect. Moreover, critical thinking and problem-solving abilities, another criteria, another add-on tools. Critical thinking and problem-solving abilities serve as indispensable tools in our journey of self-transformation. By questioning assumptions, so many times we used to assume like this is going to happen, like we prejudge the things. So by questioning our assumptions, analyzing information on hand, and synthesizing knowledge, we sharpen our intellect and broaden our perspective. That helps us in analyzing, evaluating the case also on hand, how we become unprejudiced observer. By this ability, we can always try to bay away our prejudices. These aptitude for critical thinking extends seamlessly into our interaction with patients, enabling us to decipher their needs, concerns, and aspirations, and tailor our approach accordingly. We need to identify, there are many patients who are vocal, like as you know, they are changing topics, they take you on the tour, and you also go on the tour. Then you need to identify, that is where all case, when receiving a case, you need to identify whether we are traveling on a right direction or we are just hovering around. Yet, amidst the myriad of challenges and uncertainties of life, resilience and adaptability emerge as our greatest allies. You identify the myriad of challenges, and life is uncertain. We don't know what is going to happen next. So resilience and adaptability emerge as our greatest allies in the face of adversity, setbacks, and unforeseen circumstances. Resilience fortifies our spirit and fuels our capacity to bounce back stronger than before. It is through resilience that we not only weather the storms of life but emerge transformed, imbued with newfound strength, wisdom, and resilience. As we embark on the journey of self-transformation, let us embrace adaptability, cultivate empathy, hone our communication skills, sharpen our critical abilities, and nurture resilience. For in doing so, we unlock the boundless potential within and embark on a path of growth, fulfillment, and purpose. How are we going to understand these on communication skills. Let me elaborate on a little different aspects. If I ask you, what do you mean by communication skill? What you will answer? You talk to somebody, the other person listens and he answers to you, and you listen to that and you answer to them again. So that completes the communication channel. So communication lies where? Is in speaking, is in writing, is in announcing, is in declaring? No. Communication doesn't happen there. Communication happens where? In the listening of a people. What I speak, whatever I speak right now, communication never happens unless and until what you listen out of it. Unless and until what you listen, unless and until you understand, that is the communication. So what lands you, how you understand, how you perceive, or what alongside is going on. When I say one word to you, you hear that word, but you listen another word because you are adding some things into it. So your own preconceived ideas about that thing, you emerge with it, and then you interpret what Dr. Kalpit Sanghvi has told me this, while Dr. Kalpit Sanghvi's reference would be totally different. So similarly, when patient speaks to you, patient is telling a lot of different stories. What you are listening out of that patient's stories is different. How are you going to understand and listen the ideas or concepts or the suffering pains? It is like palpating the abdomen. When the patient comes with a pain in abdomen and surgeon or a physician palpates the abdomen and they says, it is paining here. Then you identify the pain area. Likewise, when patient is narrating something, you need to identify the pain areas. You need to listen to that pain. Unspoken word speaks a lot of things. So you need to sharpen that communication skills. And for that, to improve enhancing an effective communication, you need to improve listening skills. Give yourself 100% to that attentive listening. So that is very, very important. I just keep these things in these qualities: empathy and compassion, active listening and communication skills, critical thinking and problem solving abilities, and the resilience and adaptability. Try to understand these slides. This is very important slide, giving you the better qualities and understanding and its applications. How are you going to do this? Once this is complete, this is your first and primary journey of personal development. When the foundation laid, you have that better ability. This is what just a basic idea of what is there and what is required for your personal development that can help you over a period of time in your professional development and professional career. This is what you seek by getting admissions into the homeopathy course, BHMS course, becoming a qualified homeopath. But when you are going to qualify yourself, you can say you are qualified. How can we judge and understand whether you are qualified homeopath or not? Just passing out the exams doesn't give you or guarantee you success in your patient's treatment, success in your career. If you are not able to impact the life of patients, if you are not able to impact the life of patients and the relatives by treating holistically to them, if you are not contributing to the quality of life the patient is suffering, then it is not going to be a qualified homeopath. The responsibility lies on a homeopath's shoulder is much more than any other science medical professional, because homeopathy understands the disease, the person, the health and the cure in a totally different concept. It's a holistic understanding concepts. It's not only the physical health, it's the mental happiness and the harmony within cells and without cells. So health, happiness and harmony with homeopathy is the only way for a brighter and better future for healthy India, healthy nation. By understanding personal development, we come across two words very frequently: morals and ethics. Do you understand what morals stands to and what ethics stands to? We don't have a clear understanding about morals and ethics. In a simple words, if I say moral stands to personal, what I think should be proper, what I feel should be proper, and ethics related to the space, the organization, the place where I work from. Ethics are defined by the organizational culture. Work ethics remains there. Say, for example, if patient comes to us and we are working in a hospital, patient is advised being surgery. Our moral, if patients ask us, okay, what should I do? Whether should I go for surgery or not? At this cost, and this organization having this cost. If we know there is a trust hospital and at a lower cost the same operation, surgery is happening there, our own moral says we should guide that person to a trust hospital for a low cost operative surgery or procedures. While work ethic, when I am working with an organization where I am bound to commit with the organization, I should justify the patients regarding the legitimacy of the charge, legitimacy of the cost which incurs over here, and justifying the ground. My work ethic says where I am committed to, what I am committed to. When patient comes to me, I am committed to improving patients along with my organizational structure. So that becomes morals and ethics standards. How these morals and ethics develops in us? Actually, how we also develops. If we are not learning all these aspects over a period of time, when we confronts the family, the society and the work, everywhere there are personalities having an impact on us. So multiple personality reflections we are exposed to. There are many personalities have an impact on us. If it is not dealt with balance and positivity, results in personality disorder, often misdiagnosed. This is very, very important statements. Identify the personalities in our life having an impact on you. You need to see around, understand the personalities in your life having an impact on you. Make the list of traits which admire you from that personality. Say, for example, if you are inspired by your teacher, your mentor, or your superior, or your senior, or your colleague, identify the trait which this person is having and that admires you. Identify the list of traits. The second is make list of traits which creates a negative impacts on you. If you identify these personalities having a negative impact on you and then you carry on that image with you. I came across one student during my lecture in the first year of BHMS, and that student stood up in the class and says, "Sir, I hate English. I don't like English." Unfortunately, our BHMS curriculum is in English medium. How to deal with this question? I asked him, why you hate English? And the roots are there when in the standard 5th, his English teacher scolded in the whole class, traumatized his identity. And then he started hating that teacher and language both. This is one example. Likewise, many examples of a personalities in our life impacting ourselves, the some of the traits which we carry on with us and we live with these traits. Similarly, in childhood, there are people who labels us. You are like this, you are this person, you are that person. When you label them, you are aggressive, you are mad, you are crazy, you are depressed. तू ऐसा है, तू वैसा है. You carry on with that image. So training primary school teachers also is a very essential aspect, being an homeopathic professional, when such student comes in and when you have got an opportunity to counsel, train, nurture this whole societal area, you need to understand the impact of it and identifying that if we have any that personality reflections in ourselves. First identify that. If it is there, try to identify the traits of that personality reflections and then identify the other persons. When patient comes to you, try to identify whether he carries any other personality reflections, what are his beliefs, what are his prejudices, what are his belief systems. And it has been rightly said, when I say belief system, belief actually creates us or beliefs destroy us. Rather, it creates a filter in our mind. If I believe something, that means I see the things or perceive the things on that belief. If that doesn't suit into my belief, I will not accept it. Rather, I will distort my perception according to my belief, because my belief, I will create it intact and impact. Say, for example, if I give you an example, beliefs are actually making us as well as destroying us. And there's a very, 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 very serious statements I am giving you. Check your beliefs, whether it is empowering or disempowering. If it is empowering belief, say for example, I am a good doctor. That's a belief. You can say, nah, it's a fact. I'm a good teacher. That's a fact. But that's a belief. Belief is not right or wrong. Beliefs either empowers or disempowers us. So identifying that belief, which either empowers or disempowers, we need to identify from multiple personality reflections which we pass through over a period of time and having an impact on us. So going deep rooted things into it, identify it, resolve it, and objectively understand and analyze the things. So identifying, starting from morals, ethics builds up from a different ground. Beliefs helps us to understand, as well as it distorts our vision. So perceptive reality is a very important aspect for a homeopathic physician. Because your perception defines, as I told you in earlier lectures, what is to be cured in a case. That means the story where the patient lives with a struggle. The pain and the suffering in that story of the patient need to identify, need to resolve it with appropriate measures and remedies. We have wonderful remedies to create that understanding in a person. So life is a universal phenomenon. In that universal phenomenon, we need to understand and identify first ourselves, identify the self, who am I, my filters, my beliefs, my perceptions, my stories. I keep a check on it. I understand and identify the person in front of me to understand who is he, how is he built up, and what he is going and why he is suffering. Probably that becomes a fundamental or foundational aspect for my case receiving. That will help me in my professional development. And not only in homeopathy practice. It is in professional development, it is in my marketing, my sales, my promotion. People understand, people accept you. Okay, you are able to understand their core problems and areas. And probably that listening and receiving phenomenon itself is a most healing phenomenon that will organically grow your professional career. That helps you ultimate of the things. After laying the foundation of personal development, what we have seen is, who am I? Where am I? Who I want to become? Where I will reach by achieving, establishing or identifying or laying foundation within me of understanding emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, communication skills, understanding emotions and the foundations of everything, strength and weaknesses, opportunities and threat, building confidence and self-awareness. What I become, my personal development should reflect into my professional careers, professional goal. When we say goal, we all know about goal. Rather, before goal, we all have our own dreams. We dream of having a beautiful life, very successful career, earning handsome amounts, or result-oriented careers, practice. So these are all when I used to ask students, what you want in your life, where you want to reach in a professional career. How are you going to develop your own professional life? Do our degree of BHMS and the knowledge of anatomy to practice of medicine is sufficient for achieving success in a professional life? Does alone these mastery on this subject guarantee a success into the professional life? Unfortunately, it doesn't guarantee you. It definitely contributes to your professional life. But what else is needed in that professional development? And I must congratulate the NCH, the Education Board, who has taken up this task to give you the other elective subjects. You identify your area of learning. You identify the things which I need to learn. So what are they? First, I need to identify the goal, what I want, where I want to go. So goal, you have a lot of workshop and seminar available throughout the life. But as a homeopath, how are we going to define the goal? Everybody says it should be a SMART goal. Do you know what is SMART goal? SMART. SMART goal. S stands for specific. You need to identify, otherwise it becomes only dream. Mungeri lal ke haseen sapne. It should not be like this. If you have to be specific, what I want, specific, it has to be measurable. When I say, as I'm asking somebody, what kind of doctor you want to become? I want to be a successful doctor. Can you define success? By means of number of patients, by means of types of disease you are going to treat, by means of finances you earn, revenues you earn, by means of geographical area you serve to the patients. What is defined criteria for your success? For that, you need to identify your specific goal. It should be measurable. It should be attainable. It should not be like infinite things. It should be relevant to the demands and the needs of the things. It should be time bound. If I mark a goal and I don't mark a deadline, then that goal becomes irrelevant. So that setting a SMART goal needs to be learned curatively, to identify, to exercise. You can start writing down a small goals with adding these 5 components. One small goal, one SMART goal can be completing one topics, identifying, understanding the application of that topic to my life and to practice. That can be the things of things. And for that, you say, how can we define time? Time management nahi ho raha hai. There is a very difficulty in time management. Somebody asked me, I want to do an efficient time management tools, and in market there are millions and millions of rupees are being spent for the time management tools, materials. Every year you get a new diary, new planners. At the end of year you see only 5% or 10% you begun and you have not applied to it. So it is very, very difficult to manage a time. I honestly say time management is not possible. When I say it's not possible, because you cannot control time. Time passes on its own. What you can do is self-management in relation to time. So you can do a self-management in respect to a time. So self-management is the key. Time management time cannot be managed, but we can manage ourselves in relation to time, and we conclude the things in the time. Time management and financial literacy are two pillars of success in both personal and professional spheres. That's why these two topics I have taken up in this personal and professional development task. Trying to understand effective time management. How can you do effective time management? So many times we used to do a calendar. We create a timetable at the beginning of the year, and we follow it for a days or some months, and then gradually it vanishes off. We just lose the battle of keeping ourselves on the track of time. So what is the solution for that? How are you going to do effective time self-management? It involves prioritizing tasks. There are many concepts in the market, like Pomodoro technique, like 80-20 principle. If you identify the 100% of the task, you will see your 20% of the task produces 80% of the results, while rest of the 80% of the task produces only 20% of results. So you need to focus on that 20% of important task to produce 80% of the results. You need to set realistic goals and allocating resources efficiently to maximize the productivity and achieve desired results. By mastering time management skills, individual can balance competing demands, minimizing stress, and make the most of each day. So that's very, very important. There were 4 generations of time management tools. When I was young, at the time, we used to create a task list. Daily, either in the previous night or previous evening, I used to create a task list of tomorrow's. Or in the morning, I identify the list of the tasks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I will do one by one. So to-do list is the least effective time management tool, yet it is essential for everyday day-to-day work. In the learning evolution, what beautifully in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey has beautifully managed the 4th generation time management tool. So many times sudden distracting thing comes and our time management collapses. So what to do? How to consider our own personality type and our behavior into our own time management ability metrics. So in that there are 4 quadrants. If you identify, all of us pass our time in any of the 4 quadrants. And 4 quadrants can be made up of. The first is urgent and important quadrant. Second is non-urgent and important quadrants. Third is urgent and non-important quadrant. And the 4th one is non-urgent and non-important quadrants. So how identify these 4 quadrants? Something, say for example, I am taking the session of personal and professional development, and somebody comes and just knocks a door, and I have to attend to that call. That becomes urgent, may not be important. So I need to reduce down that urgency matters to a minimal of the things. I need to do the most important task when it is non-urgent. So the quadrant 2 activity needs to be increased. Time management requires a lot of exercises because we need to work on ourselves. It's not on the time, it's on ourselves. So we can efficiently manage our time, my time. So that minimizes my stress. I can have enough room. In the 4th generation time management tool, there are 4 quadrants and weekly planning is assigned. And there is enough room for flexibility, some disasters, some unwarranted challenges, and I can deal with that. So that is first and foremost time management tool we need to master on a day-to-day practice. We need to capture the task. We need to put it into our own time management metrics, our own planners, and we assign the time. Okay, this time block I am going to do this. Our focus is literally impossible for more than 20 or 40 minutes. So you can identify the 20 minute blocks and you can work on that. Have a break, 5 minutes, again 20 minutes focused, 5 minute break, 20-minute focus, and you can work like this. So this is all about time management. Now, money matters. The most important, everybody likes it. Everybody wants it. How are we going to understand money? If I ask you what money means to you, what money means to you? Money is the currency notes. Money is the bonds. Money is the equities you are having it. What money? And without money, life is miserable. Everybody knows it. So money management, and some person with a very optimal money requirements, and he is living a life like a king. And someone with millions and billions of rupees, billions of currency notes, he is not living a life like a king. Rather, he is living a life of pauper. So it is again a matter of understanding money. But what we are going to understand over here in a professional development aspect, what financial literacy is, at least this much financial literacy aspect, everybody must understand. Every practitioner, every student, you should have it. So I will ask you some of the fundamental words. How are you going to describe? What do you mean by accounts? In any organization, in any institution, in any industry, if you ask who is a finance person, and everybody will point out to a person who is accountant. Okay, he is a finance person. Unfortunately, the accountant is never ever a finance person, because accountant is a scorer. Like in cricket match or in any football match or any match where on the board scorer is there, and who just mentions, okay, this person this over has this much runs, this over has this much wickets. He just keep a record of financial transactions happening into organization. So he is just a record keeper. So account is always about maintaining the past record. What has happened? Today this is inflow and this is outflow of the cash. These are the entries of the assets, these are the entries of the liabilities. So he is just recording it, and he keeps the books of account ready. So what is finance then? And why do I understand? Accounts I may not be aware about. I don't need to learn accounting because I am not an accountant person. But I need to understand the basics and fundamentals of finances, being an individual practitioner, being an independent earner of the family, being an businessman, entrepreneur, management, anything. Finance is pervading everywhere. Case is like blood to the life. I always say case is like blood to the life. So despite of high profitability, the organization is very poor. I don't have money, or I have enough money but I am not produce it. So finance is future. Whatever the decisions I am taking right now, whatever the things which I am taking right now, whatever the steps I am taking right now, that is going to impact and affect my finances tomorrow. So the account is past, finance is future. Financial literacy equips individual with the knowledge and skills needed to manage their finance wisely. How much money I am having, how much money I am earning, how much money I need to have essential lifestyles, how much money I need for my luxuries, how much money I need for my future financial securities in an untoward circumstances. So this includes understanding of financial literacy, includes understanding of budgeting, saving, investing, and debt management principles. So money comes into your pocket by two means. One by means of earning, doing job and getting salary, doing practice and receiving the professional fees from the patients, doing some business and earning profits. So by way of income you get money, and the other source of getting income into your pocket is by getting the debts, the loans, the liabilities. Initially you might need to take some loans to establish your clinical setup. So you need to take loan and you take that money into your pocket to manage, to establish your clinical setup. And then you start earning. So it comes from two sources, income and liabilities. Money goes out of your pocket by two sources. One by means of expense. If I go out to watch a movie, I need to spend money. If I go out in a restaurant, I need to spend money. I need to spend money by tour, travel, by purchasing clothes. So many things by expenditure that money goes. And the other means of going out money is investing into assets. I invest money either into fixed deposits, into mutual funds, into equities, into asset planning, into infrastructure development, because these investments are going to get me on money earns for me. So I invest money to earn, to have revenues on that money and to that from that assets. So by developing these basic visions, say for example, if I invest money, I always say purchasing book, investing into seminars, investing into our learning self, that is investment, because whatever I learn is going to help me earn somewhere else. Nowadays, students are happy to spend on picnics, on mobile bills, on restaurants, on movies. That is not going to help. But if you ask them to spend, to invest that money into purchasing more and more books, attending seminars, workshops, attending training development workshops, because that is an investment into your own selves. If you learn, if you know something new, you are going to shell it off later on. So the biggest investment other than agriculture is academics. If you invest into your academics, you are going to earn throughout your life. So that investment into self is the biggest rewarding thing. So building a secure financial foundation for yourself and your family requires a basic and fundamental understanding of your life. So from learner to a professional, being like a learner, one must know and be aware about qualities and skills to be mastered. And being a professional, successful professional, one must be competent and contributing to society with ethical standards. Society expects you to be ethical, integrated. What you say, you deliver. And that requisite quality you need to establish. So charting your course, career planning for homeopath, leadership and advocacy, maintaining ethical standards. These are from basic quality to professional courses. You need to learn the statutory requirements also. What kind of financial statements, mandatory requirement like Form 3CA, IT regulations, all other regulations you need to identify. You need to learn even balance sheet and profit and loss and cash flow statements. These are all X-rays of your life and living. What kind and quality of life you are going to live, that X-ray is available from your balance sheets, profit and loss and cash flow statements. So it is for growth and security, projecting quality life and freedom, a roadmap of our journey. Now, after understanding time management and financial literacy, how to initiate any new project. Say for example, if you are coming out with a new, but nowadays actually Prime Minister is beautifully nurturing and actually charting a roadmap for the youngsters of India. What you are doing? Skill India, they say individualize your capabilities to do something new and leverage it for your profitability as well as the country's economic situations. And that's why we can boast going to be the largest economy gradually over a period of time. In a very shorter period, we can compete into the world scenario. So now implementing this time management, financial literacy, any project if you want to take on, there are some tools which I am going to give you. That tools can, if you can apply it, you can use it anywhere. The first is PDCA. It is a game changer tool. Usually we don't plan things. If you ask a farmer, you want to take a crop, what you will do? He said, I will prepare a land first. I will identify the type of land, which type of crop can be grown in this land. He prepare it, the land to sow the seeds. He nurture it with water and the fertilizers and everything. And then he gets the crop. So even for taking a crop, a good crop, he needs to have a plan. If you are going to build up your home, your house, your clinic, hospital, you are there with the architect and the structural designer. You will plan everything on paper and then you start laying a foundation stone afterwards. Not by straight. While in our life, what we do? We straight away start building the blocks. Rather than having a plan, we start executing things, so many things. Just we started clinic without assessing, understanding things. So identify this tool. It is called PDCA tool. Plan, do, check and act. Plan before doing anything. Have virtual outcome and journey before any step. Plan yourself. Plan everything. Has to be had clear cut planning. Then do as per plan with small step towards defined journey. Check every time. Ongoing the metrics like Gantt chart, and there are so many tools and available for the project implementation and identifying that whether the project is going on the time or not. And then act as per the defined metrics. So PDCA is one of the tool where you can use it. If you are having a big project, having a big team, we are going to discuss on the team management also. Team building capacity, teamwork capability, it requires another qualities together. But in a professional career, professional development, if we are working in a team, we come across a lot of challenges. But for that, there is one more chart template is available. That is called rapid chart template. You will be able to see this in this slide. Rapid means in a team, somebody is a recommender. Somebody will recommend these things to be done. Person who recommends an options. There are people who agrees to these recommendations. You need to identify that people. There are person who will perform and implement the decisions. Who is going to perform? There are persons who is going to provide input to the recommendations. And there are person who is a final decision maker. So rapid, recommend, agree, perform, input and decide. If you identify RAPID under the name of individual team member, probably you can understand, you can beautifully manage and plan the teamwork projects. So planning and executing decisions requires a different skills. You need to understand another aspects. When people start saying competitions bahut hai. There are a lot of competitions. There are a lot of forces outside. Despite of lot of work, despite of lot of preparation, there are hurdles, challenges, and things are not working out. And you are just muggling with the things, ki what is happening? Then you have to somebody, I think Porter in 1979, Michael Porter has said or given these Porter 5 forces analysis. He has given it for the other industry, but it equally applies to our profession also. So there are what kind of 5 forces? So if you are having a practice in your one area, you are serving a local geography, and some new threat of a new entry comes, some new doctor came into your area, and you get another competition. threat of new entry, you need to identify the area of which where you are attending or addressing to your products or services or professional services. You need to identify the buyer power also. There are people who cannot spend, there are people who can spend enough. From where, from whom, how much you need to charge, what are the ethical standards for your services, for charges of your services. There are threat of substitutions. If you are not able to do this, there are other services also available, other systems also available to treat the things, if you are not able to create it. Supplier power, information and availability of genuine medicines and materials. You are not able to get the right medicines at the right tasks. Competitive rivalry. So these are all Porter's 5 force model. And that 5 force model also helps us to understand well beforehand for the right decisions at the right time. The second one is special analysis, PESTLA. These factors are beyond control and need to anticipate and apprehend always in the background. All of us are aware about the 2019 COVID. Everybody was at the business and everything was going on, and suddenly the COVID came in and lockdown comes in. These are beyond your capacity to deal with it. You cannot work. So there are factors, political stability, decisions, roadmap, policies. These factors are going to affect you in a person as a professional developments. Second is economic reforms, conditions, inflations, recession. These are all going to affect our professional careers. The third is sociological, society and cultural and social transformation also have an impact on our professional development. The team is technological advancement, Google search, AI and ChatGPT in social media and tech disruption. And for the medical field, AI is going to disrupt the whole economy because the diagnostic criteria, the diagnostic tools AI will identify, will replace you. Whatever you are going to remember is going to be produced by AI within seconds. Asking questions, relevant questions, identifying and recommending tools and medicines. You need to identify the legal factors also. The acts, legal forms, labor laws, intellectual property rights, laws, everything. As a medical practitioner, what kind of legal boundaries you need to keep in mind and remain within a frame of legal boundaries which has been set by the authorities and the law. And last but not the least, the environmental factors. Environmental impact, positive or negative, is going to affect your professional development. These you have to keep in mind everywhere, keep other things. So, starting from personal development to a professional development, you need to keep a hell lot of things. But all this information which is right available everywhere, it is not only over here, it is available everywhere. If you search online anywhere, you get through seminars, you get to the things. The idea is the learning what I know. There are many things which, see, that is called KWL chart. What I know. K means what I know. K, no. There are many things which we already know about and we can take reference from. It has two major impact. Whatever I have said it today, you probably might have been aware about it since beginning. Or you came to know something new, get new insight of the same experience. Some example, recent example, you may correlate it. So what you know that you have to identify. What you are wonder for. Or suddenly, oh my God, this is it. I am different. This is different. So how are you going to affect and impact? Are you going to that? My wonder moment or my wow moment? Or what I want to learn, what I still don't know. So that is what W. And what you have learned about a particular topic. So that is an AQKWL chart. You need to identify that. Write a note of it. You write down the things. And by exercising the MCQs, not only MCQs, I recommend you to not only passing out these things, try to see this video, try to execute and implement in your day-to-day life each one of the concept and the tool which we delivered over here that are straight away applied, can be applied into your day-to-day life. You can send references also. You can write to NCH by implementing these things. What are the outcomes? What are the difficulties you are facing and what you want to go ahead. So identify that things. That's wonderful thing to focus on the self. Who am I? Who I want to become? My personal development is as essential as my professional development. Unless and until I have my foundation deep rooted in my own cells, it is not going to create a fundamental, foundational, professional success in my life. That's it. I congratulate you for being the first batch of the competency-based dynamic curriculum syllabus CBDC devised by NCH for the professionals of homeopathy. And hope this generation is going to create a huge impact in future in national health programs, creating a holistic health for people around, not only for the people of India, serving the universe across the India and establishing your homeopathy as one of the major stream of branch for you, for countrymen, and for the humanity at large. Thank you very much. Myself, Dr. Kalpit Sanghvi, wishes you a great success, having an ethical, honored, empowered, enabled life for your life. Thank you very much.